Rising. Lovers of the Most High, how are you? Wowzers, what a week. How are you all feeling? My God, I'm straight up into the Neptune energy, spirituality, psychoses, um, mass deception. What was it? Scott said, the thinning of the veil. We are in some pretty gosh darn mystical times, and it is wonderful. However, as a human being on this planet, that might exhibit itself as like really, really tired. Straight up, my expressions here. This week's been a heavy week. A lot of, and I dare say this is that anoretic degree. I want to say those final degrees, right? Just because it's 3 days, yeah. March 30th, Neptune's hitting that 0 degree point in Aries, and we are going to be really feeling some aspects of renewal, but also maybe more energized, a little bit more, um, yeah, ready to take action or feeling more initiated into some of our spiritual practices. I did do a video about the Neptune into Aries shift. Patreons get ad-free first access. They also get the live link. So when I'm about to go live, my Patreons will get the link. And if you're around, you can join us in the live chat. Just so some of you who connect with me on Instagram and Facebook, taking a little break from the Instagram and Facebook, and you might notice as well, I'm taking a break from the daily shares. Having, again, these Neptunian energies just kind of luxuriating in the low vibes and allowing myself to rest and be sleepy. And it just so happens I have a little family reunion coming up. This is the beauty of tracking your own natal chart and really reflecting on how these different planetary aspects affect you and what they're really representative of. And for me, this solar eclipse in the Aries Libra axis has been so much about healing not just my family dynamics, but the reverb, like the fourth, third house of social circles and feeling belonging in these social circles, right? With Chiron transiting through the third, fourth house area, there's been a lot of deep, deep healing, deep shadow work. And I know that's there's some up level, there's some greater stability, new foundations, and then simultaneously just super duper obvious familial healing. Get this, like third house is siblings, right? And extended relatives. And I've been healing my relationship with my sister, and through the relationship healing with my sister, having a greater integral sense of a support system. Because when I left Canada, I left all of that, right? No family around, none of my close friends around. And it's been such a profound journey when I reflect on the people that I attracted over the years and the situations that I got into. Check out the blog on Alta Love. I share quite kind of intimately or like vulnerably about the intensity of these last few years. And I have quite a bit of Capricorn signature, so I tend to not share that anymore. Although look back circa 2017, 2018, and even 2019, I used to go live almost every day and share where I was at and what I was processing and, just deal with the trolls. Anywho, enough about me. We're going to pull some cards and we're going to just get some messages for this solar eclipse. We are in it. We've been in it. And it's quite, if not a bit like dealing with stuff and stuff coming up and facing stuff in our lives, right? That's a lot to do with the eclipse energy, is just shape shifting, right? So if we're not on the right path, we will get put on the right path. The people meant for us in our lives, they'll be there, and the people that are not, they will be cleansed away. We'll be able to see with some poignant clarity and make appropriate changes. So, depending on your natal chart. FYI, I do private readings, and the private readings, there's an option to do a private, almost a cross-sectioning of, I'll read the tarot, but I'll have your transit chart. I tend to mostly look at transit charts. A lot of my yoga clients request tarot readings and transit chart readings, and I typically will continue to look and again, kind of cross-reference. So be able to highlight and pinpoint. Again, very intuitive. I consider myself an absolute novice when it comes to astrology, but just through the past few years of working with clients and their natal birth charts and transit charts, there's been some predictions, there's been some really profound insight. So just more recently, I put that as an option for you guys to book a transit chart tarot reading as well. Okie dokie, we're going to be tuning in. We are tuning in the energies for this upcoming solar eclipse, March 29th. This is the final, the cumulative final eclipse in the Aries and Libra axis for this collective. What are the messages for this collective for the upcoming, and very much here in the energy of it, right? We could be in it, as in we might be saying things and doing things and having encounters that really reflect us dealing with the energy of this eclipse season, okay? Knowing that eclipses are like all cycles, it's all crossing over, and the energy of this eclipse, there'll be reverbs. They redirect us for the really next year and a half or so. And what is time, right? But we're going to be tuning in. I do like this card, the mercurial energy. We also have that planetary pileup in Pisces and Aries. We've got Venus and Mercury retrograding. So there's a lot of review, a lot of deepening our connection, deepening our sense of self-worth and our values, or correcting it, deepening to have the self-awareness and then correcting course. Yeah, divine guidance and loving clarity. Divine guidance and loving clarity. What are the messages for this collective, for this solar eclipse energy? Moving forward, Six of Sword, okay? Six of Sword energy here. Holding space for this Hermit energy. The Devil, Capricorn. Yeah, that right away is like being mindful of addictions and people in our lives. All that Piscean energy is often reflective of addiction. Being lost, right? Being lost in the oceanic void and using addiction to cope, right? I have no judgment whatsoever. I'm really in alignment with Gabor Mate as a healer, and saying, addicts aren't choosing to be addicted. Addiction is almost certainly a mask or a coping strategy for deep traumatic pain. And, I genuinely, when I'm in that good space, it's like we are all doing the best we can, and or not. Maybe there's people who are just downright devil, right? But I think the large majority of people are doing their best to survive. And generationally speaking, Libra, Aries axis, that's the Pluto in Libra generation. There's a really heavy-handed look at our relationships, the way we relate to one another. And as a generation, I was born in 1982, so I'm speaking for that generation. We're sort of called to really reflect and transform relational dynamics, which is why we're seeing that opening around more, we see polarity, right? So we see an uptick of the trad wives push, but then you kind of swing that. You see a lot of women talking about matriarchy. We see a lot of women talking about decentering men, and it's not for a lack of love, it's for a shift of a paradigm, right? It's to come into a truly more energetic, synergistic relationship rather than a dominant and subservient energy. And when I say that's reflective of certain traditional landscapes as well, removing the kind of teacher-student paradigm and knowing, like, as in teachers learn from the students, students learn from the teachers. So and these interpersonal relationships are really kind of the stronghold of the greater systematic um, systems, the relationships that we create, the culture, right, that we embody through self-awareness. And that's a big uptick in the collective. This is why the shift is like more of the masses awaken. That's why we're seeing more people get into astrology, more people getting into tarot and esoteric teachings, because they're claiming their autonomy with regards to spiritual sovereignty. A hermit mode, right? Going within, finding the light within. And that hermit in particular reminds me of like the Jedi. I'm thinking of one of the Star Wars. I'm not like a hardcore Star Wars person, but I do appreciate. And I'm thinking of one of the movies. I feel like it was like a more recent one. But one of the Jedis is like meditating and then he levitates and like turns into light, right? It's like the power of self awareness is finding the light, is finding that true source within that heals us, guides us, supports us, and ultimately helps us break free from the devil, right? It could take a lifelong journey. And devil energy, as much as we can put it to attachment and addiction, it's the entrapment. It's feeling trapped and bound, right? Which is also this part of the collective awakening. Recognizing the mass delusion or deception helps people to see what they've been attached to is demonic, if we want to use those words, but and or keeping them powerless and bound to those external entities, whatever they might be, the banking system, government systems, right? Authority, even academic institutions, right? Gatekeepers, people that kind of hoard money, wealth, resources. This is all a reclamation of divine sovereignty of self to break free from the delusions and then create in that new paradigm. It's the talking of New Earth. If any of you are Eckhart Tolle fans, he wrote his first book, The Power of Now, and the second book is A New Earth. And he spoke about how, in his awareness anyway, some of our own awakening and shifting consciousness or shifting paradigm, which really is like changing our belief systems and our value systems, and that would then naturally change the systems. And we're still seeing this idea of the bifurcation, of kind of splitting off, and you know, in a sense, there could be more extremes and there could be more coibles, if that's even a word. But I think of just little news headlines I'll see through social media, and the fuck ups, Mercury retrograde, right? How people make mistakes that affect how we perceive and the mistakes. But is there ever a mistake? You know, from a divine perspective. Alrighty. So, Six of Swords is moving forward. You know, taking all our ideas and our integrated pain and wisdom and kind of boldly going where no man has gone before. Moving ourselves forward. This is, I think, a really calm, quite nice energy. It's an Aquarian, mercurial energy. It's feeling protected, I get a sense from that card as well. Almost like I'm moving through a gate, moving through a certain gate of awareness, of mental thinking, and lighting our way. The Hermit and that character in the Six of, they have these sort of lights guiding them, right? And this is representative of the inner light within us all. That's also connected to with the expression of namaste in yoga. You know, namaste is a truly spiritual, divine connection. Why there's no judgment and again discernment with all these words. Instead of sort of harsh judging one another to mask our own pain, really we want to be kind of broadening that scope to look at the systematic injustice and gosh darn judge that shit down. See it for what it is, and then continue to transform self to trust in the birthing of these new systems that are more equanimous and that help our brothers and sisters and one another break free from addiction, to give us different options of relating, different ways of organizing, right? So then the Ace of Wands here, okay, Ace of Wands is, of course, new opportunities, new ideas. I'll just get one more card here for strength in the reverse. Oh, gee whiz. Okay, straight up, my lovers. This is that Piscean energy. Pisces is death. Aries is birth. Uh, the strength reverse. This could be a challenging time for this, for you, for this collective, for us, and in the broader world. Right away, I'm hearing something about, we can still see some pretty effing turbulent times with wars and natural disasters, be it floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, death. Of course, typically in the paradigm of fear and separation, we fear death. And the way I see it sometimes is the egoic nature is grappling and attaching itself because it's kind of running away from that core essence. And yet this planetary realm is constantly in death and rebirth cycles, right? The seasons, things die. The animal kingdom, it's fierce, it's dark, and this is part of our rebirth, is to embrace our darkness, to own our death. Whether it's an ego death, whether it's a physical death, people die. And when you look at it from an eternal soul place, that the soul is fully alive, always present, and totally eternal, hala hala hala, we can more be open to accepting death, our own and other. And yet this is also from a rather evolved, emotionally mature place of knowing that grief is part of life, that we all go through times of great pain and sorrow and loss. We could lose people. It's very painful and sad. We go through breakups that can be very painful and sad. We go blah, 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 right? So this is calling upon our strength to liberate our minds, right? This is so mass death, whether that's a representative of a mass awakening, right? Mass awakening to rebirth more of the mass consciousness. And so I can put that both interpretations, that in the collective, mass awakening is a mass ego death. But I'm taking that in real time too, that this is, again, natural disasters, war, and things that take people's lives. These are contracted aspects, okay, of soul's blueprints, because we're all unified in our learning. That there's we speak about different wars going on in different parts of the world and the language that people use. People in a more oppressive regime, they talk about their martyrs. So there's a sacred upholding that it was not for nothing, that there is a sacred martyrdom and benevolence to people dying through acts of war, and the profundity of the collective lessons we learn through these expressions. And from my humble opinion, it's moving us into greater empathy and compassion, healing a lot of psychological warfare, helping people to awaken to the injustice of their forefathers and perhaps of their here now reality. So yeah, there's this laying down our sword and also awakening to more of our own entrapment and enslavement on a mental level. Okay. But death is obviously very sacred and very cosmic, and this is for some of us in some places in the world endeavoring a deeper strength. Nice. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so there's some more juiciness for this collective. This is Justice in the World card. Holla. Justice reigns supreme. The Sword of Truth. Okay, this is all part of the awakening. Awakening moments are profound because they unify us. They help us become aware of our truer essence. Again, as a soul, knowing there's more than just being a worker bee slave or just fitting into like the mainstream program. I personally, it's been such a journey. I sometimes feel increasingly removed from it. It's the matrix, the old paradigm, the patriarchy, and I know there's waves and surges of people's angles and how they're perceiving all of that. I'm acutely aware also that the archetype, the beings represented in these cards are feminine. They have boobies. Which this is a upholding of the femininity, the divine feminine, which again is darkness, is intuitive awareness. It's beyond the veil, but it's the mother earth, right? And to return to the mother for justice for all and birthing a new world even through the veil of darkness, because we have masculine energies represented in the hermit, the devil, and the death. The strength card is a female too. So I'm looking at these 6 major arcanas, right? 6, 5. 6 major arcanas, 3 representative of the feminine, 3 representative of the masculine, and how the justice in the world is birthing greater balance in those polarities in truth, which comes from the individuals and more individuals awakening to that, right? It's not, I know that's what we've all been programmed to think, but it's not the external creating. This is a truly mystical, mysterious, and wonderful experience, but it is paradoxical. It's the self. Thine is the kingdom, right? So it really is that integration of the light, the dark, the right, the left, the male, the female, the sun, the moon, being integrated from within self, the Christ heart, right? The altar of God. And that more and more and more of us will awaken to that, and more of us will be creating from that regenesis. So, I mean, on a certain level, the so-called system or the institutional energies and attachments that uphold that system, for a lot of people, have already crumbled. They don't exist. Not in the way they once did, because more people were attached to them, which keeps them in place, right? So huge, beautiful, beautiful integrative energy. Ace of Wands over here, right? Quite central. Ace of Wands. 6 of Swords. Inspired. New creative ideas. New creative opportunities. Feeling jazz. Also fire. Neptune and Aries, right? Eventually Saturn's going into Aries. Plus we've got the Jupiter going in, well, it's still in Gemini. It will eventually go into Cancer. But I'm thinking more of the Uranian energy that's going to be transiting into Gemini. So we have these powerful air and fire signatures, masculine energies. And I think of how oxygen or air stokes the flame, right? So there's this sort of like Uranian energy up ahead in Gemini that's like whew, stoking the flame of these dreamy Neptunian energies and these sort of like hard, but kind of wanting to embed these new structures with Saturn in this rebirth process of Aries to initiate and drive forward these new constructs, collective agreements. Those of you who resonate here, it's again knowing that on a deep soulful level we have been creating this for a while, for a while, and we're just now in an initiatory phase of starting to see more of it land in the physical reality miraculously, right? Because it's all been miraculous. Beautiful energies coming through this my next deck here. So Sword of Truth. There's a little bit of smug contentment. I see that with kindness. Smug contentment here. This person is a 9 of Cups, really lucky energy. Luck's being elated tonight. I never know the words, but you know that. And then there's a kind of a nice thing going on over here. There's a 10 of Cups and 7 of Cups. I get this to be a really happy home. And there's a lot going on. Okay, so we could see new things happening, and I even can reflect that with myself. I've had a friend visiting last weekend, and then I've got my mom coming to visit next weekend, and then my sister. That's what I mean, family reunion, solar eclipse in Aries. My third, fourth house, siblings, mom. Like my sister hasn't been to visit since 2009, so it's like, and there's been such profound healing, so I'm so excited about that. And then a super good friend coming to visit end of the month into May, and then I'm gonna go to Canada and visit my sister in June. So it's like there's a lot of good stuff happening on the home front, but it just might feel a bit emotionally busy with the 7 of Cups. This is a really happy home though, and especially with these shifting energies and this sort of like integrated sense of self, and like a little bit gentle, humble, modest, but more powerful, more potente. And then Justice, the World card, ushering in these new energies, bringing about greater sense of justice, even if it's within self. And then feeling lucky about it, thinking, yay, we've come so far. Yay, we've done so much. Yay, my body's feeling better. Yay, counting our blessings, just feeling really, really good. Hala Shazam, there's good luck there. And there's a sense of joyful home front, being joyful at home, being joyful with our loved ones. Oh, interesting. Mother of Cups and Father of Cups. There's this ending of a cycle. And interesting, because when I was, just as I was shuffling and pulling, there was another message that come through about this 10 of Cups and how it's not just about like happily ever after romantic lover. There's this sort of separation and then coming back together. So there's a lot of healing around the old paradigm around nuclear family and dying to that. 10 of Sword reverse. That's been dying out, as in I need to find the one, or I need to this, unless I have this type of partnership, and then putting such a strong emphasis on that partnership being the thing that fulfills us. 7 of Cups, being fulfilled in lots of areas of our lives, having it's straight up. It's taken me a long time, brutal emotional shadow work around dissolving the Hollywood Disney paradigm of the princess finding the prince and like that's a heavy fucking imprint. Plus there's the nuclear family. And that's shifting into community orientation and coming into wholeness within self. I know it's tough shadow work. I get it. I probably never would have chosen it if I thought it was going to be this long-winded. I'm Aries, I have I have two Aries Mercury and Sun in Aries. I like to move fast. Let's get this show on the road. And so I never, back in essentially officially 2016, but I started broadcasting on the internet before then. 2012 and 13, I started creating Alta Love website. But, and then as early as 2012, 2013, I started putting stuff out and practicing speaking on the tubular. And so, and then by 2016, I was guided to publish and write and publish the book and really kind of establish Alta Love. And so 9 years, but 2013 was my first intuitive owning and transforming and understanding the shadow and the psyche more through visceral experience, right? Of not just blaming and attacking somebody, but holding space for my emotional body to clear. I call it the karmic backlog, but now I'm aware that that's what people call the shadow, doing shadow work, feeling feelings, deep ones. Hala. And so, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, if I had known how long and how deep and how profound it was going to be, let's just, that's, I think, part of living a path in earnest and the fucking huge humility and I bow to the forces because I don't know. And I don't want to know. I don't want to pretend to know. I don't want to be a guru. And I don't necessarily at this point care to sort of exhibit some sort of happily ever after. And yet, shape-shifting and working through my own personal inherited relational dynamics that I perceive as distorted, avoidance and gossiping and, like weird shit like that, or denial, avoidance, denial, right? And even the way we can so firmly label all the labels, nervous system and BBD, and I'm somebody who holds space for all of it is of value. It's like I don't particularly resonate with certain styles of yoga anymore, but I've dabbled and tried a heck of a lot of them. I've dabbled and tried a heck of a lot of healing modalities. I just also somebody who's been poor most of her life, like it gets expensive. So my own path led me to like the emotional regenesis, i.e. the shadow work, that you can actually heal the self through totally owning the totality of your experience as a self-created. But there again, there's nuance to that because for me, it was never about like there were times I wanted stuff, but like it was never about like having stuff to be like the manifested, because I think already the collective is overly attached, the devil, to stuff and things, and this over attachment to stuff and things is polluting the planet. So to me, it's like a whole inverted reversal, and owning the shadow to heal in the kind of cosmic grid. Um, Sometimes I hear what I say, I'm like, what? Wow, wowzers, what am I saying? But there again, that's been part of my journey, getting downloads and being pretty stunned by the profundity and the again, like how things would download back in my early awakening phase, and it was only years later that I learned that esoteric knowledge from other masters, that I was like, whoa, I was downloading that information. Holy shit. It's intuitive. It's in the cells of my being, just like lots of inherited generational trauma, pain, neglect, abandonment, betrayal. So, hi. Whoop, off on a tangent there, but there's that Ten of Sword energy. They're big karmic release points that we have been reversed. We have been releasing it. Some of you might be feeling pain. This is possibly separation with a loved one. Be it death, there's a Mother of Cups. Do what you like with the genders, but there is a Mother of Cups, Queen of Cups. She's on the other side, okay? There could be death. Sorry to say, you guys. That's obviously a poignant expression, but put it in other framework. For some of y'all, this is just separation from a loved one. You're at a distance, okay? And it's painful. You feel sad. But the mourning and the sorrow of the Five of Cups could also, of course, be indicative of grief through loss. And that's why you're needing strength. You need to lay it down. You need to let it go. For some of you, this could be like past as well, like somebody you've lost a long ago, or healing the mother wound. And that will be different for everybody. Healing the mother wound, some of us, our moms, are in the present body still, and others, it's not. Oop. Luck be a lady tonight. What is my life, God? Oh, gee whizzicles. Raven. I like to read because this is my newest deck. Give the wisdom where it's due. Raven. Mysticism, magic, clairvoyance. Raven with appreciation brings to you out of the void. Clairvoyance comes true. I'm only going to read like the message. It is upright. If Raven has flapped along, it is telling you to expect magic in your life. It is all around you, and the magician lives within you. Go to your inner world, my lovers. That was me. The void, to release the magic and see the raven's eyes. It's also bringing you healing of deep ancient wounds. I resonate with that. First time in many years, I've just given myself a break. I just come off social. I just was like, huh? And of course, knowing that there's a whole bunch of shifting and processing going on. And like, it's long-winded. It's processing stuff from the last years, if not lifetimes. It's all simultaneous, interwoven, right? Nice, Raven. Thank you for that. Be aware. Some of you might actually see ravens in your world. I think that's more of like a crow call, but I literally just heard caw. Cheers, Raven. I think because I know they're different, but I want to say ravens have like a bigger, blacker beak. Correct me though, okay? And I don't want to Google it. So they're maybe bigger than crows, but you know, crows and ravens. Do you guys know anything about the difference between crows and ravens? Are they even from the same familia? It's that epic Edgar Allan Poe. I'm a wizard. There's a big old oh, my tummy's rumbling. It's about that time for hella breakfast. Ooh, I've already whipped myself up a little smoothie. I randomly like saw a post on, is basically turmeric fresh. So I chopped up some turmeric, ginger, garlic, honey, pepper, lemon, blended it all together, sieved it because it was all crunchy from the turmeric and the, I guess, the lemon and the ginger. Sieved it, and then I put the liquid in like ice cube trays, and then I've been putting like a cube of that in my smoothies, which, you know, a sweet smoothie with a hint of garlic and pepper and turmeric. Woo! But it's just like a little bit, but it was something about glowing skin. So it's like, eat your glowing skin. I'm like, okay, I need it. Although I've just been, anyway, blah, blah. Okay, final cards, final messages for my lovers. This is pretty juicy. This is spicy. Especially because it's New World, Justice upright, Sword of Truth, coming on up, right? And then we have the joy for success. Some of y'all are going to be getting some success news. It's going to bring you a lot of joy. Some of you are going to start to feel lucky. Just more in love with your home stuff going on. And that's going to bring about the joyful vibratory. You feeling good? Feeling lucky? Bosh. There's some, I think of things worth celebrating coming in. All right, my loves. That's the solar eclipse live reading. Maybe I'll go live. Maybe I won't. But again, my patrons, they get the link. They get ad-free first access. There's other perks for my top tier patrons and the grassroots patrons. That's a $5, and then top tier patrons are around £20, $20, and yeah, the top tiers just get access to my Be the Change online courses, my yoga playlist, and they get 10% discount on booking private sessions with me, whether it's yoga, EFT. It's all just pure intuition, but I tend to do some yoga with people, and as per their request, we'll do readings and astro transit tracking, and occasionally do some tapping, tap. Occasionally be doing some tapping with people, and yeah. So top tier patrons get 10% off. Is that all? You can buy my book on Amazon Kindle and Audible. And of course, check out the T-mail store, you guys. You can totally get yourself some products. You can see the products somewhere here. It's just all the different things I've co-created with T-mail, and had a little bit of fun over the years making these different love sweatshirts, and it's all aligned with the brand as far as it's sustainably sourced. It's 100% organic cotton, and you know, collaborative, which I think is a very much a kind of new paradigm signature, is that yeah, we're all kind of working together to support one another. And I know that me getting the T-mail store has inspired friends and other creators to also, not that I was necessarily the first, but I was the first in my awareness to find T-mail. So other people using T-mail to create their own products as well. So check it out. Check out all the Alta Love, and feel free to subscribe to Alta Love. I'm slowly getting in the habit of writing blogs again, and keeping it usually to about once a month, where I'll send out a shout out, i.e. a newsletter, to the subscribers. It's a nice way to kind of stay in the love loop. And of course, I'll still be here on YouTube, and I do share intuitively on TikTok now. I actually prefer TikTok. I do find it, even though there's, you know, the trolls and weird energy, I do actually find it a lot more community oriented, where Instagram and Facebook just have not, it's not been resonating for like a while, even though I'm so grateful because I have met amazing people there, and a lot of the people who, of course, purchase readings and have supported the business are from Instagram, which started 2014. I think I started Instagram, but I just, whatever. I might go back, you know, you never know. But it's more even for my personal mental health and time management, to not be on social media so much. And let's be real, having TikTok, having YouTube, that's more than enough. And it's my fave because I can blab away and kind of connect with people in a more intimate and authentic way, where I don't find that the live shares quite land the same way. And anywho, there you have it. As and when you come across this video, feel free to share it if you think you have people in your community and your family, friends, whatever, that might resonate. And I appreciate all of you so much. Feel free to like, subscribe, support Alta Love and myself. I really, really appreciate it, you guys. Have a wonderful solar eclipse. Holla Shazam. Let me know how it goes. I always love to read your guys' comments. So thanks a lot for being here. Take care. Peace out.